this video, you will learn about introduction of the user interface. You will learn about the workspace, the ribbon user interface, the quick access toolbar, other display tools, and then you will learn about the drawing of various components like lines, arcs, circles, rectangles, hatches, erasing them and exploding, and basically modifying those objects. So let's get started.
Okay. So this is this workspace. So here, all the quick access toolbar. This is toolbar. Basically, it houses some basic commands that we are all aware of that cut across many softwares like also Microsoft and all that, like the new, open file, save. Then here, these are some unique ones. You can open from web, mobile. I can open some files that I have on web. And do you know there's AutoCAD Web actually? There's AutoCAD Web. I can access my web. There's a problem. I don't know why it keeps telling me there's a problem. It keeps telling me there's a problem. So there's something called AutoCAD Web. Let's just look at it. So if you don't even have AutoCAD at this point, you can go to AutoCAD Web and draw your AutoCAD things on the web without even the software. It's a little bit different, slightly different from the software itself. But let's just have a look at it. Once you're done, you save your drawings on cloud. That is if you have an account with Autodesk. And an account is just free, open. Just can sign up an account free of charge. Sign in. Oh. Let's give it a minute. Okay, we'll come back here. Just continue. Okay, so this allows you to store up your drawings. Once you work on your drawings here, you can open. So this is opening from web, and this is saving to. This is plotting. Plotting is another name for printing. A plotter, as you all know, is a printer that prints big papers. It plots. So this is the undo, and this is the redo icon. And then this is where we switch. This is the workspace area. This is where we switch to AutoCAD. And how you switch to AutoCAD instead of Civil 3D, because Civil 3D has these different options or commands for creating infrastructure objects and designing them, and you require some civil engineering knowledge for you to do this. But AutoCAD Workspace, you just click to this drafting and annotation. It's a drafting and annotation space. So drafting is drawing those lines and those arcs and all. Then annotating is naming. So if I click on drafting and annotation, I go to the AutoCAD Workspace. Very simple. And these are the different AutoCAD commands. So today we'll be camping here at the draw place. This is where we'll be camping. We'll be seeing how to draw certain things. Then if we get time, we can also do the modifying. So I want us to run through these course outlines a bit fast as compared to what we did last week. We were a bit slow. So we run through these different things, and then we go through, we now create a drawing. We can do a house plan, for example, together. We're able to do this very quickly. We now do like a house plan. We utilize what we've learned to draw a house plan. Okay. So this is the drafting and annotation workspace. This is where we will be dwelling. So there's another AutoCAD workspace also here, the 3D modeling. This is an AutoCAD workspace. But this is not for you, civil engineer. For you, you don't draw crews and such. Don't draw. So that is this 3D modeling is mainly for mechanical engineering. So this is a civil engineering course, and therefore, disclaimer is that we will not be covering 3D modeling. But if you're also interested in 3D modeling, you can also. So this allows you to do AutoCAD in 3D. Do some boxes, you do some, then you extrude all that. But for us, we'll be dwelling much on doing an animation workspace. So each workspace has its own set of unique commands. And the Civil 3D, once you're done with this upper section, this just shows the the version of Civil 3D and the drawing name. This is drawing 2. So anything that you do not know, you can come and search. Not know what movies, come and search movie here, and you'll be pointed to the online sources. Be pointed to the online sources, and you'll be told what a move command is, all that, and other related information about the move command. Then this shows I've signed into my platform or my account. Then here it's the App Store. If you need some other apps, usually there are people creating apps that make Vivo 3D work easier. Come there, you can come here and click on apps. You go where you can get the apps. This is Plex app. This allows you to visualize Google images. So Civil 3D does allow you to create background images, but Civil 3D does not have an agreement with Google Maps. So the images on Civil 3D are Bing images. But if you want to use Google Maps, you can use Plex Earth. You can download Plex Earth, you install it into your machine, you are able to use. So you see people selling different kinds of apps that you can utilize in your 3D. Guy is selling at $10. Then is free. So you can read about these tools and you can add them to your platform. For example, for me, I have Plex Earth. And when I georeference my drawing or I project my drawing, those who do Civil 3D know, I can go to quick view and I draw a rectangle, which will now give me a background image. And that's an app that you just get from App Store. Then you can connect to other people. Connect icon. This is a help icon. This one allows you again to go ask any questions. This is the Autodesk Assistant. They call it an AI assistant. If you click on it, a palette shows up here. You can chat with AI Autodesk Assistant, which I rarely do because you can get anything you want from them. But it can also assist you. You can give it a try. You can chat, ask any question, something like alignment labels disappear. So if you have any troubles, you can come and try to troubleshoot from here. So like for example, here they're telling us alignment labels disappeared. So you can type it here and Autodesk Assist can try to assist you. So remember, there's Autodesk Web that I tried to sign in, and here it is. Here it is. So this is AutoCAD. This is AutoCAD in web format. So these are some drawings that I uploaded to my web account, and as you can see, I can create a new drawing on my web. This is browser, so you can open up an account, go and try this out, and I can open up a new drawing. Same commands that we are going through today. Here they are. So if I want a rectangle, I can just come and draw a rectangle. Okay. If I want an arc, 3-point arc, again, start from there. See. Yeah, so you can draw an arc. If I want a spline, I can draw a spline. If I want to draw an extension line, I can draw an extension line. If I want to mirror something, I can mirror this. This is the web, guys. So it's the same functionality that we'll be going through today, and it's within the web, and I can save it now. So as long as you sign up, as long as you have an account, you can come and sign up and search for AutoCAD web app. Start using AutoCAD in your browser. Sometimes even I cannot access my computer, yet I have a browser, I have a mouse, I have a computer somewhere. I can open up a drawing and even give my reviews on the web. Say this section here needs some revision. So this is a revision cloud that I've just inserted. Okay. So back to the software. So what you're seeing up here, this is what is called the ribbon. This is a ribbon. This is a ribbon, and the ribbon is divided into tabs. There are different tabs. The different tabs. Some of the tabs here that you're seeing, you may not have them. Why I have this one is because I downloaded a particular toolkit. This one is also from. This one is an add-on. If you don't want to see some of the tabs, you can go to show tabs and you remove the tabs that you don't want to show. You remove the tabs that you don't want to, and you're left with the tab. Okay. Then if you want to minimize this ribbon, you can click on this icon, minimize to panels. So you can minimize to panel names. So these are the panels. So each ribbon or each tab, this is the ribbon, but each tab has its own panels. For example, this is the draw panel. So these are the tools that are related to drafting. And this is the modify panel. Anything that you've drawn here, you can try using this. Then this is the layers panel. This is the place where you get to do your drawing management. So you can set walls into a particular layer so that anytime you want to turn off walls in a drawing, you just turn them off. Anytime you want to turn on doors are in a different layer. You just turn on and you turn off. If you want to freeze a particular layer, if you want to lock a layer, you can do that from the layers tab. The annotation tab is where you do most of your writing. You can write text. You can dimension your drawing. You can do a multi-leader, a leader that shows the name or the details of a particular thing that you are pointing. You can create a table. You can create blocks. So sometimes if you don't want to do a lot of line work, you can convert that line work into a block so that all that line work, you can carry it as one block into something else. Then this is the properties palette. This is the properties panel, I mean. You can match certain properties with other properties. This is the grouping. So you can do particular lines and you create a group out of that. This is the utilities. You can measure the distances. See, there's a ruler here. Then this is a clipboard where you can copy and paste. So this is just the panel arrangement of AutoCAD Civil 3D. And then here you have the insert tab that allows you to insert certain things. You can insert PDFs into your. You can insert images. You can attach images. XREF. You can annotate here. Also, annotation is basically similar to what is here, but with more. You can see same functions. The text, all that. You can still find them here. Division class. Parametric allows you to do some constraining. Okay. View tab controls what you're seeing here. What you see, you can decide to have more than one viewport. Currently, we only have one viewport. If you don't want to see this UCS, you can turn it off. And like you see, this is the UCS icon. It disappears. So basically, a view tab allows you to control the appearance of what you're viewing. So the view cube. If you don't want the view cube, if you don't want the navigation, just remove it. Okay. Then there's the manage tab, allows you to manage your user interface. You can customize your user interface. Okay, from here. Looks like a coder's platform. Then output, this is where you produce your drawings in terms of paper. Collaborating allows you to collaborate. You share your drawing in platforms. Anything that is blue takes you to online platform. Add-ins. This is also the add-ins that we were talking about, the apps. Express tools, some express tools that you want to arc your text that you've written in one straight line. If you want it to be shown in an arc, you can come and do it. Standardized data tool. some standardized tools that perform various functions. So apps and other apps that you can also bring in again. This is something that I brought in. This is a tab that you probably not have. Allows you to create things such as parkings. Allows you to do simulations of drive-throughs. You can animate that. This is also so that's the ribbon, and then down here, this is the works. This is the model space. This is the model space. The model. This is where we'll be doing much of our work. This is where we'll be doing our drawing. Here are the model space, and once we are through with the model space, we go to layout. So, for example, if I draw a circle here, if I go to layout, I go to the viewport. I double click here inside the viewport. Where is this viewport? It's not locked. Okay, so I double click in the viewport. I zoom to extend in the. You can see the circle that was in the viewport. So here at the viewport, at the layout place, this is where I put what I was drawing here on paper. So this is where I put my things on paper. I can print them to PDFs. Okay. So that's the model, and this is the layout. And this is called the navigation cube. Allows you to navigate your window. So if you want to rotate from the north side, you want it to be in a parametric view. You can see this annotation here also allows you to change whatever is here. So we're in the southwest isometric view. So you can change it to something else. If you want it to be in southeast isometric view, you can change it to southeast isometric view. You can see even this view cube now changes. So if you want to view it in a different style also, apart from just having it here at the view tab, you can see we are in 2D wireframe. You want it to change also to something else. So these and these are the same. You can change it to sketchy if you want it as sketchy. You want it at different conceptual, but rarely will you ever change this. So you will be mostly in 2D wireframe. Never change this thing to other thing. So you can go back to the home tab of the view tab, and then you click on top to go back to. And this is the navigation bar as well. So you can turn on the navigation wheel here, and you orbit, use it to orbit. You can zoom with it, but rarely will you ever also use this. If you can use your shift key and you press your roller mouse, with shift and your roller mouse, you can be able to do whatever you want. So you don't need to go to this navigation thing here. So once you're done viewing or rotating something, you can go back to 0. But most of these things that need rotating, it's either you're in CO3D or you're doing these kinds of drawings here. So mostly in 2D drafting, you don't need to rotate your drawing. So let's say if you extrude this, platform is very heavy. Bear with me, computer will. So if you extrude that thing, for example, this is when now you need to see it. You need to see it in 3D. So if you put it maybe in a different style, put it in shaded. So this is when you now need in 2D. Why are you going to a 3D or to a 3D view, and yet you're drawing everything in, right? So this allows you to pan. Panning is just holding and moving like this. So if I click on this pan option, I can left click something. I can left click on my model and I move this. But you don't need also to pan like that. So if I escape, you can pan using long pressing your roller mouse. So if you long press, you see I grab my airspace and I pan. Then here there are different options for zooming. Zooming extends, zooms to everything that you're doing. So if I do something else up here, and I zoom into this place and I can see whatever I drew up. So I can zoom extends. can zoom extents. So here the drop down shows you the different types of zooms. So I can zoom to a window, but zoom extents is the one selected here. And zoom extents allows me to, if I am lost somewhere, if I also don't see that circle, I can zoom extents and I can see whatever, everything that is within my model. I can be able to see the extents of my model. But if I want to zoom to a window, I can zoom to a window that I select. I can zoom to that window, right? So that's the view cube, the navigation bar. But if you have your mouse, for quick use of your mouse, you can see even the zoom extents can be done on your mouse. You can just double click on your roller mouse. I double click on my roller mouse, I zoom extends to everything. So you don't have to use these two. Just use your mouse and you'll be good. Then down here, this is the command line. Any commands, at some point, if you're acquainted to Civil 3D and you're good at it, sometimes you don't need to go up here to these commands. You don't need to be looking for commands up here. Just do the short forms of command. Let's say I want to trim this. So I just type TR, I click enter or spacebar, and I trim that. So I don't need to come up here and search for the trim command to come trim anything that I'm trimming. So the command line, you can try even just type anything. Type H, and you see how many commands that are there. You can execute with the which are starting with H. You can even type A, and you will realize there's so many commands. Okay, but you can see A is for arc. So if I type A and I click space or enter, I will execute the arc command. If I type AR, I will execute the array command. If I type AA, I will execute the area command. So you need to actually know that these abbreviations are not just abbreviations, and they don't work across all the commands. You need specific abbreviations work for specific commands. Yeah, so that's the command line. And anything that you want to see about the history of the command line, so here you can see these are the things we've been doing. We've been zooming. We did a projection on the UCS. We typed AR or something. So that's the command line. And here, this is just the short form of what we've been doing. Trimmed, that is the last we did. For that, we zoom. We did, I think this is a zoom or what? And then we drew a rectangle, we panned, and all that. So you can remove the command line, you can close it, and for you to bring it back, I think you can again type file command and get it back in case you ever lost the command line. And then down here, this is called the status bar. And whatever you're seeing here at the status bar is controlled by this. If I click on these arrows here, or these lines, I mean, arrows. What is checked is what you're seeing. So coordinates are checked. See, the coordinates are checked. So I can see the coordinates. If I uncheck the coordinates, I will not be able to see the coordinates. Dynamic input, this is a very good thing. We need to have it checked actually. Mine was not checked. So dynamic input needs to be checked. This allows you, this is the dynamic input. This allows you to interact with Civil 3D or AutoCAD. So for example, if I type a line, you can see the information that I'm getting down there on the side. It's because dynamic input is turned on. So let's say I start line again. See, I'm not given any clues. This is because we've turned off dynamic input. So we need dynamic input on so that we are being given clues. I'm being told there to specify the first line. And I can even type in the coordinates of that first line. You can see the highlighted text. So it's showing me the coordinates. And just in case I need to type in the coordinates of where I need to start my line, I can type in those. So dynamic input at the status bar, very important. Please always remember to have it on. Then the units, you can also have it on. The quick properties, this is also something really good. So quick properties, in case I click on something, the quick properties can be able to be shown. So the properties of this thing, for example, this object. So I click on quick properties. So here I'm able to see the quick properties. So this object is in layer 0. Then the line type is dictated by the layer in which it resides. Then the color of this object is by layer as well. So layer 0 has color weight and it has this width and all that. So it's giving me the properties of this thing, and I can even change the CUI. I can add more items that I want to see. So customer user interface, customize user interface. So for these quick properties, I can add more properties that I want to see about any object that I'm interacting with. So currently it's showing us the color, the layer. If I want to add other things, I can add. But I'm okay with what I'm seeing for now. Let's add any changes. So that is the quick properties. I think we're done with the user interface. So very quickly, we'll get to see some commands. So we're already here. We're done with the menu. So the menu system. This menu system is the one we've not dealt with. This is an ancient way of doing AutoCAD. So AutoCAD initially did not have this ribbon way of displaying things. So you could see these different commands up here. You can see here. This is just the same things, but now in a list format. So I don't want to take you back to where we've come from. We've come from Egypt. Let's just proceed. So hide menu bar. So we don't need to see this menu bar. So that is the menu system here to show you. So for some people who may have used AutoCAD Kitambo, so they need to be shown that because that is what they were using. So we are here, basic drawing and editing. We're going to show how to. This is a simple thing, and then we will call it a night. Then tomorrow we can start with these other two. We cover these two. Then by Wednesday, make sure we cover all these other things. On Thursday, we do a sample plan. Do a sample plan. Then on Friday, we put it on model space. I think that's fine. So these lines commands, as we've seen, are very simple. So if you want to draw a line in Civil 3D or AutoCAD, it's very, very simple. So first, what we need to do before even we start drawing or drafting, we need to know our units. So anytime you're given a Civil 3D drawing, just type units and click enter. Come to the command line, type in units and click enter. Or anytime you're starting a new drawing, you need to establish which units you'll be using. So if you're drawing a house, most of the time units are okay. Most of the times units are in millimeters. Those spans will be millimeters. And then here at the type, there are these different kinds of drawing unit types. So the length types, you can have them in decimal, you can have them in architectural. So if I click on architectural, you see this is what this looks like. If I type engineering, this is how they will look like. Want to avoid that. Fractional, that is how it looks like. Scientific, this is how it looks like. Okay, so you want decimal points. So millimeters, decimal points. That's okay. Then for the angle, you can decide to have them either in degrees, minutes, and seconds, or you can have them in decimal degrees. And you can dictate the precision of both. For example, if this is decimals, the precision here is we're saying we can be able to draw anything to 3 decimal points. If you don't want it to be in 3 decimal points, if you want it to be in 1 decimal point, change that. Same for this. And then for the angle type. So angles are being measured moving in an anti-clockwise way. So let's just click on direction here so that we see what we are meaning. So the east. So this is the east from the east. And this is the west. Of course, this is the north, as you can see here. These directions usually confuse you. This is the east, this is the west, this is the north, this is the south. So the direction control is anti-clockwise. 0, 0 is on the east. 90 is on the north. Okay. 180 degrees is on the west. And as you can see, this is anti-clockwise. So clockwise is unchecked here. So meaning the angles being measured in a way. So you don't need to change this. Okay. Lighting units of specifying the lighting intensity. Let's put it to international. Really change that. If you're satisfied with this, you click OK. Set up your units. So units can be accessed through here, typing in units. Or you can also come to the application menu, come to drawing utilities, and you click on units. But as we said, we want to be proficient. And let's get used to typing. The only time you don't want to type are things like rectangle, which the short form for this command is rectangle. You don't want to write rectangle. Just come and click rectangle. Okay. Now we can proceed. Now that we have our dimensions well set up or our units well set up, we can proceed. Usually, if you want to see your background using a grid, you can decide to have it using a grid here. So if I can click on this grid for and AutoCAD utilizes a Cartesian plane. Cartesian plane usually has X, Y, and Z, and this is the green one is the Y Y plane, and the red one is the X plane. And this user interface, as you can see, this is not placed in the origin. Okay, if I come to view, you can place your UCS in the whether it's placed at the origin or not, it's not that. But you need to know that here you can have your grids on or you. So let's just, here at the home tab, you can draw your line and you can type in here L or word line. Let's just go here. And dynamic input is on, and therefore Civil 3D is guiding us, or AutoCAD is guiding us on how we can do our line command. So we are being told there at the dynamic command, or even at the specify the command line. We're being asked to specify the first. So let's just specify first point anywhere. So there's something that is really important. If you want to do a perpendicular line, you can see this any direction. So there are two things. One is the ortho command. Then there's polar tracking. So these two are options. Let me not call them command. These two options. The ortho allows us to do, you can see here, it's a perpendicular. And this polar tracking allows us to also do in regular angles. See the angle is changing. You can dictate an angle, you can dictate a distance, you can dictate an angle. For example, you can click on the tab, you can click on the tab command. If I click on tab, you can see, first of all, we are on the distance. The distance section is editable. See, if I draw a line, the distance placed there, editable. If I let's say I want. So if I want to specify the angle as well, I just click on tab, take into the. I can now dictate, let's say, a 45 angle. So that is the line. If I go to quick properties, 1300, if I can add the angle quick properties, but the line command basically is just simple. If I put on ortho here now, the ortho option, see, you can just draw a line. You can also draw another perpendicular line. And another option that you need to know here is called the OSNAP. So different objects can snap onto different sections of another object. For example, we look at this list. We have the endpoint, an endpoint. We have a midpoint. So the snaps that are checked here, we are able to snap onto them if we are starting a new command, for example. So let's see. See those grips that are now showing? So we are able to snap onto the end once I turn on the object snap. If it's not there, you cannot be able to. So if I turn it on here, I can snap here. If I want to snap at the middle, I can't because the snap, the middle snap, not turned on. But if I check it, I can now snap the middle. You see that triangle? It's there. The middle snap. If I want to snap this, I can draw another. I can draw another perpendicular line. Now let me show you the other one, the polar tracking that I was talking about. So if I check the polar tracking, see, polar tracking, it's in 90 degrees. So let me just check settings of the polar tracking. It's in 90 degrees. Let me change it to 45. So I click on tracking settings and I change this to 45. I click OK. So now it can now track the 5 lines. I can go to 45 and another angle that is a factor of 45. Use this tracker as well. Do that. Do another one, this tracker as well. So that's how we are doing our lines. Okay. So you can utilize these options here: the polar tracking, the ortho here, polar tracking, and the object snap. And as you can see, these different options can also be, they have shortcuts on the keyboard that control these options. For example, the ortho, you can control it using the 3, for example. If you want to turn the ortho on or off, or snap off, or this is the F3. Yeah. You can see, or snap off. So when you're very used to when you're a guru and you're used to the keyboard, you don't have to come here to the status bar as well. Just click on the F3, turn on the ortho. Here, F8, you turn on the ortho mode. If you don't want it, you just click on F8, turn it off. Right? That is the line command. So there's usually a difference between a line and polyline. As you can see, in the line command, we were drawing a line and it was giving us a segment. But if you were to draw a polyline, so I was to draw a polyline, for example, snap, click F8, I go, click there, go, I go there, then let's say I click on C to close, I hit it. If I click on this polyline, the polyline is closed object. It's not like the command. Command is one line segment. The polyline now is giving me whole object in one go. So that's the difference between if you're that quick properties. So you can turn it on for your own convenience anytime you want to see some properties of a particular object that you're seeing. Also, you don't want to see those quick properties, just turn on properties. So we are going step by step here and doing commands. Next is the circle. Then here you have a drop down arrow here, some extension of this command. So you can do a circle. You can draw a circle using a point. You can also draw a circle using, you can draw a 2-point circle. You can draw a 3 tangent and a, then you can draw a tangent and these 3. So the most basic one is this center. Click on that. You can say you can switch to any other 3 points. A turn and radius. Okay, you can switch. This command line also gives you options. So if I click on this, I switch to 3P, 3 points. But I want to draw a circle to this command. Draw a circle center. The diameter and the radius is, let's say That circle. And let's say I want to do a circle using the diameter of circle. I want to draw the I don't have time to divide that diameter. For you to repeat a command, but you don't need to go. It's just you don't need to go back. You can just tap the space bar. So if I tap my space bar, same command, the same circle. If I click a point, see I can change to the either by typing D first letter of what I'm seeing here. This is also an options place. So I can just type D. I can just left click. Now in the so I can type, you can see even I can just hit enter because our previous circle one we do. So AutoCAD is already preempting the next circle, same. So I can just hit enter. Circle of the same size. Okay, that's the then I can draw a 2-point circle. I want a circle that touches these two ends. Come and draw a 3-point circle. Really use that. There's one interesting. You can draw a circle, touch this tangent. Say touching tangent. So another one that is interesting. It's close. So if a 3-point circle, yeah, then to the you can draw a circle. Describe it. Touch. That's the circle. And then there's command 11 option. That's the 11 options. The 3-point is the most basic. That's that. Draw the first point. Even when you're drawing, let's say your alignments, you can use this one. You can use this. The radius arc. You can see the radius. Gives you the radius. That is really a good one. Let's say you had a road. It's ready for an arc. Each command here, you use it. Usually, it is all this, but you can just explore. They are just described the way the arc, the command works is described. For example, here the arc, this it's start, then the center, circle, then the end. Let's say start, then this. Then that's the, so they're all described here how you uh, the size of, so that's a good one. Then the rectangle command is this one as well. And you can see also there's a drop down. So you can do a polygon, you can do a rectangle. So let's start with the rectangle and see. So these options here allow you to change the qualities of the rectangle. So you can either decide to have the corners of the rectangle chamfered or filleted, or you can dictate the width of the line of the rectangle. So we will explore that first, but before we do that, let's just click and continue. Let's not specify any options here. So let's just click, and then here you can draw a rectangle very easily. But there's a good option here that you can even click on dimensions here. You can click on dimensions and then specify length of the rectangle. So let's go with 10,000. And then you click enter. Then the width, you go with 5,000. There you go. So you can decide where you want to put it. Just click on there. And there's your rectangle. So let's see an option where we can chamfer or fillet this. Let's fillet this rectangle. Example. Let's do a rectangle again. And here, let's go see. Escape. Rectangle. Oh yeah, these options. So these options, I want to fillet the corners. So specify fillet radius. Let's go with that was 10,000. Let's go with 50. Specify first corner. You can see the corners are now smooth. Let's go with an area of, let's not do such a big one. Let's go with 4,000 by 200. So you can see this is the 50 millimeter fillet that we applied. This is the 50 millimeter fillet we applied. And then here for polygon, a polygon here, you can decide, enter the number of sides, 5. Pentagon, specify the center, inscribe in circle, and then specify radius of the circle, 3,000. There you go. There is your pentagon. Pretty simple. Next one here is an ellipse. So you start with the first point, the second point on the right, and then the third point. Okay. So you start with the center point, second point on the right, and then the third point is. So even these tooltips are showing you what you need to do. So you can see 1, 2, 3. So you start with the first point as the center. You go to the right to number 2, and then you click on the next point. And then here is the hatch command. So these are different ways of doing the same thing. So if you want to do an elliptical arc, you are shown here. You start with number 1, you go to 2, where there is no point, then you go to 3, 4, 5. So for another ellipse, you start with the axis 1, 2, and then the end. Now let's do the hatch. Hatching is basically just drawing some patterns. If you want to shade the interior of a particular enclosed area, you can use a hatch. So here, hatch, there are different types of hatch. There's a gradient hatch, there's a hatch, and then there's a boundary. Okay, let's just do the hatch one, the first one here. And then we are prompted to pick an internal point. So this is a solid hatch. If you want another type of hatch, let's say angle, we can decide to have that angle. If you want this type of hatch, and there are different types. There's so many. Okay. So let's do a solid one for one. Start with Let's give it a different color. Let's put it there. We want to put it in the octagon as well, the pentagon, and in this circle. Okay, so let's do another one. Let's just do this one. Usually, if you hatch using the same kind, it will be like one object. Okay, so just escape. So if I click on this hatch, you can see even these other hatches are selected. So let's say if I move, see that all these hatches are selected. So if you keep placing hatch using one command, it will continue as one. If you wanted to put let's say a different pattern, this, you can come here on the hatch, select this other pattern, and select an internal area here. It's a different pattern. I don't know why it's appearing solid because of the scale. So let's change the scale here. Let's see whether it needs to be 0.1 or you can see it go to you can see the different part. You can play around with that until you get the right scale. That see our scale here is 1:1000. This is annotative. That's why. So this, if we had 1:1, I think 1. Okay, so 1:1000. That. So you can play with the scale until you get the right scale for. So this was not a solid hatch, it was a pattern. So we needed to put it in pattern. So we've covered most of the basic commands to know. Usually there are some other commands that you may rarely will do. When will you ever use a spline? These are some other commands that you can go and explore on your own. There's a reason why they're not. They are not the basic commands. So as you do most of your drawings, you will either be drawing a line, you're drawing a plan, you're drawing lines or polylines, you're drawing, you're filleting those commands, you're drawing arcs, you're drawing rectangles, all that, to form particular shapes that represent different. So if we are done with this, we're done with this first option here. I think you're done with this. Erasing and exploding is part of buying, which we'll cover tomorrow, but we can also see what exploding means. Cover it tomorrow. Then snaps we've seen, tracking we've seen, grips we've seen. So exploding, if you want to, this is one object for now, as you can see. If I click on this hatch, it is one object. If you want it to be single lines, you can explode this hatch. So you just come here to the command line and you type explode. You explode it. Now you can see they become single lines. So exploding is it's like separating a block of objects which are together. You just expand it and you explode it into segments. So any questions? Basically, we are done with today's session. And as you can see, AutoCAD is pretty simple. It has quite a huge potential of functionality, but most of the time you'll be using like 30% of it. So AutoCAD is capable of so many things. Over the times you're using, and that is enough for anything that you want to do. So any questions?